Hi, welcome to my channel, Grit, Grind and Gratitude, where we talk to micro-entrepreneurs about their journey of becoming a micro-entrepreneur and walking that path. Grit, Grind and Gratitude shares stories of resilience, of purpose and values-led entrepreneurs who are shaping their futures boldly. Hi Dimitris, it's a pleasure to welcome you to my channel, Grit, Grind and Gratitude, where we bring micro-entrepreneurs like you, we shine a spotlight on them. So welcome to the channel and it's my pleasure to interview you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the world?
First of all, thank you, Dimitris, for the invite. It's a pleasure to sit down and chat with you. And thank you for the work that you're doing, that you are having these interviews with people who have had some or a lot of success, some of them, because it's a good blueprint for people to follow who want to go onto that path of entrepreneurship, let's say, which is not easy. So thank you for your work. When it comes to me, I started back in Greece. In 2004, I launched my first business, which was I had a creative agency because my background was in filmmaking and architecture. So I was combining filmmaking and architecture to provide architects with 3D visualizations and videos of the buildings that we're building. Then I pivoted and I was doing client work for TV commercials, documentaries, short movies. In parallel, I was studying graphic design, so I started introducing some graphic design services for my business. But because of the crisis in Greece, in 2010, I closed down my company. I moved to London, and then I worked for Mastercard as a creative lead there. Moved on to bwin, which was the biggest gaming company online, as a creative director. And after that, I moved to Dubai. For the last 9 years almost, I was heading the product design innovation for the innovation center that Visa has here in Dubai. In parallel, because I was always fascinated with psychology, but I never got to study it, I started studying psychology when I moved to Dubai. So that took me some years to get my bachelor's and then some added qualifications on psychotherapeutic methods and psychoanalytical approaches from several different providers. So in parallel with my work at Visa, I started seeing clients as a coach, trauma-informed coach, doing work with them, especially around business and how business affects us in general and how we show up to our business, whether we have our own business or whether we are working somewhere else, how to decode the difficult path of working for a corporate entity and how to show up there. And I was doing lots of work with many people. But then a year ago, I left the corporate world and I started Aion. So Aion is a well-being and engagement platform for businesses that want to have a transparent and honest relationship with employees and really help employees move forward in their journey. I still do some consulting work for product strategy and design, but I'm mainly focusing on building Aion at the moment. So that's in a nutshell what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's so amazing because the work that you bring to the world, it is so much needed because the more and more this whole onslaught of AI, digital transformation, and the always on culture that people are burning out very fast in organization. Well-being is an important focus area because if my employees are not well, how will they perform? And I've always believed in getting the whole selves to work. So if my employees are sleep deprived, if my employees are not able to or feeling overwhelmed, then how do they bring their best selves to work? So beautiful work. Thank you so much, Dimitris. Tell us more about what does the platform do, because I know there are various levels of there are various psychotherapists, clinical psychiatrists, I'm sure, or there are other people who are on board. You've created a beautiful app which has different levels of privacy. So talk us through that a bit more.
Yeah. So it's exactly as you said it, that wellness is really important. But one of the reasons why I started this work is because wellness is being treated by businesses as a tick box.
Yeah.
And I saw that happening, and I was very much surprised, because what happens is that 80% of people lie in the corporate surveys because they don't feel safe to raise their voice.
Yeah.
So why is this interesting? Because even if HR wants to help, they're trying to help on data that they're skewed. If 80% of people provide corporate safe answers because they're scared, then HR doesn't have the right tools to do the job. And HR spends around 300 hours per year when it comes to wellness to figure out, okay, I got the annual survey, now I need to analyze it. Now I need to find workshops. Now I need to cater per department's needs. So all this cycle takes around 300 hours from HR by having wrong data. So the result of that is that globally we have a cost of 325 billion per year for employee turnover, and that's massive. That's a lot. So the question then becomes, why do people do not feel safe to open up and speak up? Of course, that has to do with the culture of the company itself, first and foremost, and no magic pill can do anything for that if it doesn't come from the top. But there are other reasons as well that we can fix, and that's what my platform is trying to do. So if we imagine the journey that the employee goes through, is that I'm being sent a link from HR, I click on the link, I go into a 60 to 80 questions survey, I reply once a year, and then I have no update, nothing happens basically. So there are several problems in that flow. There was a study in 1991 by the American Psychiatric Association, because they wanted to see how effective interventions are. And what came up is around 60 to 70%, I don't remember the exact number, of people who visit psychologists or psychiatrists remain the same. There's no change. There's around 15 to 20% become better, and around 15 to 20% become worse. So that was a massive blow for the community, because they were like, what's going on? What's the reason? Why does this happen? It is not a matter of the psychologist or psychiatrist behavior. Well, it is, but it's not a matter of their personality. It's not a matter of their modality, meaning, are they psychoanalytical? Are they cognitive behavioral therapists? Are they coach? None of these things matter. The only one thing that mattered was how capable was the therapist to provide a safe space for the client to speak up. That's all it was, the only definitive factor. So then my question was, okay, how do I bring that to the workspace? And that's why the flow we discussed before, receiving a cold link from HR, clicking the link, 50 questions, nothing happens, or I don't know what happens, is a very flooded flow. So what I'm doing with my platform is that I have a curated list of psychologists and coaches, and I'm also using AI to enhance their reach and capacities. What does this mean is that I have created a system where I can reach out to people weekly. And it's not that there's a cold link that gets sent out to you so that you click and you don't know what happens. And first of all, okay, yeah, most of the companies who provide these services make sure that the anonymity is preserved. But there are many instances where managers can triangulate and figure out who said what. So there's an entity outside of the organization that reaches out to people personally, which creates a human-to-human connection, and it's not a cold link and a cold survey. And because I'm able to do that, I generate data per month. So I give monthly data to HR. I have designed a very beautiful dashboard where on one side you can see the challenges for wellness and engagement per department, and on the other side you can see what interventions you can do to tackle these challenges per month. So basically I alleviate the pain of HR having to spend 300 hours searching what's the best intervention to do for specific challenges, and I alleviate the trust element that is there, because I'm not sending out cold links from HR. I have someone reaching out to employees, person to person, asking them very specific and targeted questions that take 5 seconds to answer. And that's once a week, 2 questions, that's it. So that's how the platform goes about. In parallel, we offer 24/7 AI business coaching that you can do your development there. And if that's not enough, I have a full directory of very good professional psychologists, coaches who have a business background and cater for employees. So that's how I'm trying to solve the issue of trust and the issue of HR having to spend all this amount of hours on trying to figure out what's the best thing to do for the department.
And also in the process bringing wellness to people, actually.
I hope so. But here's the thing, to bring wellness to people, you have to speak money. You cannot, the CEO, yes, they'll go out and say we're out for wellness and everything, and many of them are. But many of them just care about only sales. I don't care about how my employees are doing. I just want to see on the balance sheet that I have X amount of growth, and that's what I care. So go cry, have your burnout, but deliver your numbers.
Yeah.
And because
It is
of that,
so unfortunate, actually.
but that's how the world is.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's not something that we can change with the platform. This doesn't change with the platform. This is a cultural and educational thing. But anyway, that's a longer discussion. But what I'm trying to do as well is at the end of every year, I give them a full report with data that have to do with monthly well-being and engagement trends and correlations of departments' KPIs, so that they can see clearly how wellness and engagement affects their KPIs, which means that they can pay more attention where it matters for the employees' well-being. So I'm trying to make employees' well-being being a financial advantage rather than something to tick the box.
Yes, and if you can show ROI on these kind of measures
Yeah.
and activities, then it makes business sit up and take notice that, okay, this what I'm doing is actually has got a direct correlation to my business productivity or ROI. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Great. Tell me, this has been an year, so it's quite a short journey so far, but what are your wow moments or high points during this journey?
First of all, we launched not even a month ago, but I've been working on it for the past 10 months. Wow moments.
Obviously, the app going live, I'm sure that's a wow moment.
You know what? I need to be honest with you, because if people who watch this want to go on a similar journey of entrepreneurship, they need to know that there are very little wow moments in their path. There will be, until they see some results that they can measure as success. And then success is very personal. to each of us. And what does it mean? Is it monetary success? Is it a success because of acceptance and approval and recognition that you're an entrepreneur? There are many forms of success. But when it comes to wow moments, I think the wow moments is when I speak with clients, I understand their needs, and then I can think of things that I haven't thought before to accommodate in my solution. Because for me, a wow moment is when I solve someone else's problem through what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And if someone is making it easier by being open and honest and transparent, and then we can solve the problem together by me contributing with my knowledge and experience and everything, and then contributing by just being open, for me, that's a wow moment. For example, last week, I was in Qatar, in Doha. I was part of the Web Summit there, I have my booth and everything. And I had a very nice discussion with an HR person of one of the biggest tech companies in Qatar. And she was so open and friendly and welcoming and open about their challenges and what we could do together. And I was like, that's a really cool person to work with.
Yeah.
So that gave me a really nice momentum to keep going. But the entrepreneurial journey is something very lonely, is something very, it makes you feel isolated up to a point. Until you're out there discussing, taking part in things. But it's not an easy path. So wow moments need to be measured based on your values, I think, rather than the success of your product, because I know very well that my product might not work and I might have spent last year of savings and everything just like that. That's one way of thinking about it, that I did nothing. But the other way of thinking about it is that, okay, what did I gain throughout the journey? First of all, as experience in terms of my professional background and trajectory, but most importantly, whether what I'm doing aligns with my values. And what I'm doing with this platform does align with my values. It has a lot of heartaches because things don't move fast, problems with some, development, things break down, you need to figure, always things like that. So if it doesn't align with your values, it's gonna be a massive problem. And again, your values might be that I want to make money and that's it, which is a questionable value that we can discuss in a therapy session, but that's a different discussion. So yeah, I think the wow moments, back to your question, have to do with how you have chosen to value yourself first and foremost and your product later on. So for me, it's sitting down with people and then being open and honest and trying to solve a problem together. These are the wow moments for me.
Great.
Sorry, long answer for your question, but I have to take you through my thinking,
Yeah. So the correlation, and this is a platform where we talk to more and more purpose-led, values-driven entrepreneurs, and you brought it out very beautifully in your answer to your wow moments, that when you're connected to your values, how satisfying it is to do that kind of work and to measure yourself against that set of values. Wow, great.
And the difficult moment will come in the eventual. 99% of startups fail, right? Let's face it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the outcome of a person who goes on that path failing is 99%. Good. If I have set my success metric to be money, which all of us, of course, want to make money. Why would I go and, spend all this hard time if I wouldn't want to make any money at all? Of course, I want to make some money.
Yeah.
But if I have this as the pinnacle of my success metric, then it becomes a problem for me, because if I don't make it, then I will be in such a trip of guilt, internal shame, internal resentment, that it will be very difficult for me to recover from it. While if I have it aligned with my values, I will say, you know what, okay, it didn't work, but at least I managed to try and help people in the way that I thought was fit for them, in the way that I saw it, as a gap in the market. And in any case, it was aligning with my higher values. and I lost money, I learned some things, but I was aligned with my values. If my only thing is to make money, then I will have a big internal conflict.
Yeah.
And
then
I
you would
don't
need therapy.
succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you
Then you
succeed,
need a
then
lot
okay,
of
fine.
therapy. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting that, like big, bold, underlined, that 99% of entrepreneurs fail, but you're richer from the experience of having walked that path. Yeah. Are there any other challenges that come to your mind when you talk to people? How is the market reacting to your product?
I have good reactions, I have positive reactions. The challenge is, because we just started communicating it, the challenge for someone who starts and goes out in the market is how to find the right language for the right people. You cannot speak one language and expect to be accepted from all audiences. So you have to decide who you're talking to, and you have to tailor your language to what this person is more familiar to, their pain points, their experiences, what they're thinking, what are their aspirations. So for me, it's a learning journey, because I speak to several different segments, several different people. Let's say I'll speak to a chief people's officer, then I'll speak to an HR manager, then I'll speak to a CEO, then I speak to a manager who wants to have this data for their department. So you have different audiences, and you need to make sure that you speak each person's language. So for me, at this stage, is calibrating that. That's where I am at this stage, so that I make sure that people accept something, because the question was about acceptance, right? People accept something that they feel familiar with. If you go with something that's completely foreign to them, they will immediately block it and reject it, because mentally we categorize incoming things into categories that have already been built in our heads. So there are certain, this is called categorical thinking, and it's a big part of neuropsychology as well. So if I go someone and they haven't developed a mental concept about a category, I cannot introduce a new category to introduce my product. I need to figure out to which category best does my product fit, so that then I can use the appropriate language.
Yes, absolutely. I was reading an article today about entrepreneurs, and it was mentioning this specific thing of how when entrepreneurs speak the language of the customer, the acceptance rate is very high.
Yeah, of course.
And you've like just talked about that in your answer to the last question. That takes us to the last question for the interview, which is, what are your words of wisdom for people who are sitting on their passion project, wanting to take the jump? What are your words of caution, words of wisdom from having walked this journey? And you have been an entrepreneur earlier, so just draw upon your experiences from both these journeys and bring forth your learning.
First of all, I don't consider myself to be wise, so I don't know if the words of wisdom apply to what I have to say, but a couple of things that I can point out from my journey and the journey of others that I've seen, because I've worked with many people, many of my friends are on the path, so I know the game. First of all, I would say is that do not believe the lie that everyone needs to be a Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg.
Say that again.
Do not believe the lie that everyone needs to be an Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, whoever else is out there, Jeff Bezos and all these guys. Because we've been fed this lifestyle of a generation that was raised with a very specific archetype in mind, and that is the San Francisco-led technologists. So do not believe in that. And entrepreneurship does not mean what you see on Instagram, what you see on YouTube, what you see on media in general. It's not that. And there are many books that speak about one of the books is called Unfair Advantage. I don't remember the author. That author has done a really good deep dive into all of these figures that we have as, oh my God, he's, the
epitome of
king.
Success, yeah.
The epitome of the entrepreneurship, right? And he goes through many of them to debunk the myths. Oh, I started from a garage. Oh, I didn't have any money. BS. There were other things at play in the background, and it's not as we are influenced to see it as. So that's one. Do not believe that lie, and you can find contentment, not happiness, because I do not consider happiness as the highest value, but contentment, yeah. It doesn't mean that contentment lies all in entrepreneurship. It doesn't. Basically, it's the last thing. It's the last resort. If you want to find contentment, the last thing you want to do is go and become an entrepreneur. So that's the one thing. The second thing is that if you are to take that journey, make sure that you have a backup plan, you have savings, or you're doing it in parallel with your day job. Do not become overexcited about something and jump straight unless you have verified product market fit. So when you build a product, a business, whatever, the first thing you want to identify is how the market reacts to my product. This is the product market fit. Then you identify to which things they react the most, and then you double down on those things and you scale those subcategories. Yeah. But what many people do as a mistake is that they jump too soon with immense excitement without having validated product market fit. So if you haven't validated product market fit and the appetite of the market for your product or service, do not go all in, do not leave your day job. It's gonna be problematic for your future, yeah. I think these are the two things that I can say, because I think people kneel under the burden of entrepreneurship because of these two things. First of all, because what we see outside, which is the portrayal of these guys as this is what I need to do to be accepted or admired or whatever. So do not fall for that. And the other thing is, do not go all in unless you have established product market fit. I think these are the two things that I would say.
Great learnings. I just want to distill that for our listeners. One, you're saying that do not have them as your role models.
They're not
because they are not the only way you can do entrepreneurship. There are many.
No. They're not the only way you can be content. For me, entrepreneurship is nothing. For me, it's hard to be content in life. If I can be content in life, I was watching yesterday. I sent to my wife a reel of a guy who is raising sheep. He has his farm, and I sent her the reel without any comment, and she replied, "Your future." Because she knows, not as a joke, because she knows that's what I want. I want to go and be in nature. I want to be near animals. I want to find contentment there. But my journey at the moment drives me somewhere else before it takes me there.
Yeah.
But the end of the journey is contentment. How can you be content?
Yeah.
So it's not that the only way of contentment is entrepreneurship. It's contentment. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's beautiful because we always have these things which we are driving towards, which is sort of our vision. And it's our vision and our values and our purpose that's driving us in our journey. But current state, we are actually building something which is far more meaningful. far more, there's a gap in the market, right? There's a clear gap in the market. And we see that because we have our specific eyes, because we feel that gap in the market, right? And each of the micro entrepreneurs that I interview have identified a very different gap in the market.
Yeah, yeah.
And the second thing that you very clearly pointed out, that this is actually, entrepreneurship is a long haul.
Yeah.
It's not something that you get all excited about, and there's glamour. There is a lot of grit, grind in the process, and there is a lot of gratitude that we express for even small things that we get on the table. Sometimes a lead, sometimes a helping hand, sometimes an access to a important decision maker. Even interactions like you and me, we were connected by somebody, right? So I'm very thankful about that. And thank you so much, Dimitris.
I have something last to add. Sorry,
Yes,
it just came in mind.
please.
It just
Yes,
came in
please.
mind
Yes,
because of my psychology background. I would urge people to search online about trauma-led success. That's my last word of wisdom.
So explain a little more about
Yeah.
trauma-led success.
So there was an interview recently between Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozi. And it's very clear how Alex Hormozi's success has been a trauma-led success. And there are many parts in the interview where you can clearly see that if you have a background in psychology and you can decipher some things. One of the things that he mentions is that at some point he reached success, money, whatever, but everything seemed flat. He was giving millions and millions to charities to help other people, but everything seemed flat. Nothing made sense. Tony Robbins' approach was that, meaning lies in helping others. But Hormozi was telling me, I was helping others, but still I was feeling flat. So there was something there that Tony Robbins didn't pick up, and that was the trauma-led success that Hormozi was driven by. And that is basically when you have been conditioned through childhood to be the provider, to be the one that holds your parents instead of your parents holding you. There's so many other subcategories and so many other experiences that lead people to keep pushing, although sometimes keep pushing is not the answer. So that's the third word of success, that keep pushing is not the answer all the time. It might be a trauma-led response, and you need to search within and figure out where does this come from. Because if I'm depleted and I keep pushing, there's a problem.
Yeah. So sensing when rest is important, sensing when sometimes stepping back is important. Is that what you're highlighting?
No, it's more of a yes, but you're not going to be able to understand whether it's rest that you need or a complete recalibration of your compass if you do not know, or if you haven't searched within you your past traumas and how this may lead you into keep pushing forward.
And your triggers actually. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. But you need someone to work with who knows what trauma-led success is, who has done work with professionals that have been facing that, and who will help you identify that, pushing harder now is just a learned response, and it's not what the situation demands at the moment. Because many entrepreneurs think that pushing, grinding is all it is. No. You have to be aware about your psychology and how this affects your entrepreneurial journey.
So you are bringing forth a very, very important point, that entrepreneurs have to be self-aware about their motivations and triggers, and because a lot of our entrepreneurial journey is actually driven by who we are as a person.
Yes.
And our conditioning through the childhood, or our responses to events that happen to us.
Yes.
Exactly, that's what you're highlighting. And then working through a coach can often solve that issue or shine the light and put the camera
Well,
on yourself, and you realize,
yes,
oh wow, this is what I was stuck where.
yes,
Where
but
was I
with
stuck?
coaches,
Yeah.
correct, but with coaches and therapists who are trauma informed, not the traditional business coach.
Ah,
There
okay.
needs to be a trauma informed piece that drives these discussions. Otherwise, it's go, 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 push, push, push. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's not what you need.
yeah, yeah.
So that's interesting also.
Beautiful. Do send me the link of the interview. I would like to listen myself because,
Yes, yes, I will.
yeah, I'm always very interested in self growth
I'll send
and
it to
being
you.
aware of my own blind spots. Thank you so much, Dimitris. Thank you so much for your time, Dimitris, today. Your journey highlights the grit, grind, and the gratitude that entrepreneurs lead day in, day out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the invite.
If you like this interview, please don't forget to subscribe by pressing the bell icon and follow us on our social media handles as we talk to more and more micro entrepreneurs who are living their dreams boldly.